Now, let's take a look at some of the keys to capacity building success. So first of all, the nonprofit needs to have choices about the specific capacity building methods. Next, the emphasis of the capacity building should be on outcomes and accountability. In addition, the emphasis has to be on learning what works and what doesn't. And the two most crucial keys to capacity building success is dedicated resources, and the capacity building has to be built into the day-to-day operations. These are the 5 keys to capacity building success. Again, there has to be choices about different capacity building methods, whether the agency decides to focus on building the leadership capacity, whether the agency decides to focus on building the adaptive capacity, the operational capacity, the technical capacity, whatever it is, there has to be choices. There has to be different options on how to build a capacity. And next, the emphasis of the capacity building should be on the outcomes and accountability. There has to be an emphasis on learning what works and what doesn't, because it's typical, because when the agency ventures into a capacity building, they're exploring new territory. Some things will work, some things don't. So there has to be an emphasis on learning what works and what doesn't, and the discovering what works and what doesn't needs to be done relatively quickly, just to make sure the agency doesn't go down a road that's too far to come back. Next, the agency needs to have dedicated resources, and then the capacity building has to be built into the day-to-day operations. These are the keys. These are the 5 keys to capacity building success. Now, effective capacity building is built on the following 8 foundations. They have to be comprehensive. They have to be customized. They have to be competence-based. They have to be timely. They have to be peer-connected. They have to be assessment-based. They have to be readiness-based, and they have to be contextualized. Without these 8 components, the capacity building program will most likely be ineffective. Again, the 8 components to effective capacity building are comprehensive. The program has to be comprehensive. It has to be customized. It has to be competence-based. It has to be timely. It has to be peer-connected. Then it has to be assessment-based, readiness-based, and contextualized. These are the 8 components to an effective capacity building program. Now, let's take a look at the ingredients of sustainability. When an agency ventures down a road to build its capacity, their goal is to increase their sustainability. So let's take a look at what the ingredients of sustainability are. So the key ingredients are internal leadership, program staffing, empowering, fundraising skills, and leader vision. Internal leadership covers applying a mission-centered, focused, and inclusive approach to making decisions, as well as inspiring and motivating people to act on them. The fundraising skills is about developing resources necessary for efficient operations, including management of donor relations. That's the typical fundraising skills that are required. Again, there has to be skills for developing resources, financial resources necessary for efficient operations. and that includes management of donor relations. Next is program staffing. Program staffing is about making staffing changes as needed to increase and improve programs and service delivery. Regardless of what the internal or external environment is, the agency may need to make staffing changes. Next, there's empowering. Empowering involves promoting activities, promoting learning, and promoting a belief in the value and the ability of the staff and the client. And finally, there's leader vision. Leader vision is probably the most crucial. The vision is what drives the whole agency. So the agency needs to formulate a clear vision, and others need to be motivated to pursue it. So these are the 5 basic ingredients for sustainability. And these are the 5 basic ingredients that all agencies will be looking to acquire when venturing down the road to develop their capacity. Again, there's internal leadership, there's fundraising skills, there's program staffing, there's empowering, and there's leader vision. Now, the critical elements of capacity building are leadership and culture. Those are sort of underlying elements that are needed. Leadership and culture. There has to be a receptive leadership for capacity building, and there has to be a receptive culture for capacity building. Now, we've covered this extensively. We've covered SWOT analysis extensively in previous webinars. I just want to go over it briefly. Basically, when an agency is trying to assess their capacity, they utilize what's called the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis takes a look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats to the agency particularly. So let's take a look at what strengths. So some strengths may include vision or strong leadership, strong active organizations. They may have strong brand development, may have strong programming skills, planning, diversity of membership, strong commitment from some active members, lines of communication, commitment to change and collaboration. These would be some more common strengths that an agency may identify. Some weaknesses an agency may identify as non-active members, inconsistency in administrative processes, retention of organization's active engagement, lack of financial support, lack of participation in any particular network committees among members, lack of active outreach recruitment of non-member organizations, lack of ongoing administrative support, and lack of diverse topics to attract varied members at quarterly meetings. These are some basic weaknesses that may be inherent in a typical agency. Opportunities that an agency can exploit would be funding for community needs, membership growth, membership involvement, collaboration, participation, information exchange, promote community needs and concerns, increase awareness of community services, increase referrals among agencies, build capacity, improve family and/or community outcomes, sharing of data among organizations, and adoption of new business models. These may be some opportunities that a typical agency may find. And threats would be economic threats, tradition, which is basically business as usual, the political climate. Existing organizations may lose current business. There may be a lack of board development. There may be a lack of capacity. There may be narrow-mindedness, turf protection. That's the basic overview of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that an agency may face. That's the basic analysis that an agency would want to do. Do we have any of these strengths inherent in our agency? Do we have any of these threats inherent in our agency? Do we have any of these opportunities inherent in our agency? And do we have any of these threats inherent in our agency? These are the typical. This is the basic overview of a typical SWOT analysis. An agency may identify these qualities inherent in their agency. Now, again, the four core capacities, just to go over, is the adaptive capacity. That's the ability to monitor, assess, respond to, and stimulate internal and external changes. There's the leadership capacity. That's the ability of all organizational leaders, both executive staff and the board, to inspire, prioritize, and make decisions, provide direction, innovate, all in an effort to achieve the organizational mission. Then there's management capacity, or operational capacity. That's the ability of a nonprofit group to ensure the effective and efficient use of organizational resources, human and financial, as well as physical and social. And then there's technical capacity. That's the ability to perform the key operational functions, deliver programs and services. Those are the four core capacities to review. Thanks so much. We'll open up the lines now to questions and answers.